What's up guys, and welcome again to the channel. So it's already been 2 weeks since the Dominaria United set was released in Standard, and some decks are still adjusting despite the dominance of mono black mid-range decks in most of the recent tournament results. But for today we're still going to continue checking on some of the deck archetypes that are existing in Standard in this format, with a few variants in their deck build. So for today's standard deck feature with Dominaria United, we have Esper Flash, sort of a deck, but we can call it as the Esper Plaza by Intervention. So this deck list is submitted again from TGO Goldfish, and with still no record of the tournament performance, but despite of it, we still check and compare it with the builds of that of the Esper control decks that are still also performing well in these recent tournament results. So we look again at the lineup. We can see there's a variance of the list because of the play around of the build with the land plus of heroes. So first off, we're gonna check that again. So it's a land from new set Dominaria United. It says that it can add 1 colorless mana and also 1 mana of any color to spend only to cast a legendary spell, or to add mana of any color among legendary permanents you control. So it will also adjust while the colors are those legendary permanents are. And you have this ability wherein you can pay 3 tap, exile passive heroes, target creature gains hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. So the bonus of it is that you can basically have your any of your legendary spells or creatures, gains hexproof and indestructible, basically surviving spot removals or any other destroy effects, but the cost of only that having to 3 and exiling plus of heroes. And at the same time, it is not a spell but rather an activated ability, making it difficult to deal with or counter with most of the spells in this format. So we go with our creature lineups. We have 19 creatures in this set. So we go first with Adeline, since it's built around the legendary creatures. So Adeline is just a standalone creature whereon with each power is equal to the number of creatures you control, and whenever you attack, for each opponent you can create a 1/1 white human creature attacking for that player or planeswalker that you control. So as we go with this, you can create your board bigger and by producing 3 of these 1/1 creatures, and at the same time it goes well with how your winning announcement would flip later on to get the dudes pumped with this anthem effect, and at the same time it's also a good source of white human treasure tokens from this setup. Now for added legendary source, again we have Denix, Pious Apprentice. This is an old card again from Minute Hat, but its purpose here is now that it becomes a 2-drop of the deck with the static ability of having cards in your yards can be target of spells of abilities, plus the bonus of lifelink and this a good body of 2/3. But the good card here is once you get to disturb it, it becomes Denix Pious Apparition, wherein whenever one or more does flying, it becomes a 3/2, and whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, investigate. So having to investigate means to create a clue token for free, in which you can use it clue later on to draw a card. Then if Denix Apparition would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So the bonus here is that you get to still get a free creature that you can use to disturb later on. At the same time, it becomes a good 2-drop to go with the curve with this deck. So along with that 2-drop, 3 Denix, we also have 3 Fairy Bundle. It's basically a utility creature with flash and flying, wherein if whenever you draw your second card for each turn, you get a counter on it. So it still goes as a pseudo Ledger Shredder in its own, but with effects that having it to flash on your end of step, and at the same time having it flying makes it quite evasive to deal and to block with most of the creatures in the format. So with those 2-drops, you can also get the curve with another 2-drop Spirited Companion. It's just enchantment creature dog, but it's used as a utility creature here, wherein you can also get the draw card and have a 2/2 body for your second turn. Now for the curve, we can also go with the 3-drop with the Raffle Scheming Seer. So this is basically an old build for most Raffle Esper decks in this format, and having 4 ops, making sure that you can get to curve early on and have Raffle in the 3rd turn and then untap to your counter spells to protect it. And given that also it has a ward on its own, it also makes it difficult to kill with the high casting cost spot removal spells. Now for the 4 copy, we go out to the top curve as with Airtight Resurrected. So we can check it. Airtight is a Vortex 3/2 flash that has 2 abilities. They're in counter spell, activated ability, or trigger ability at the cost of having its controller draw a card. And another effect is that you can destroy another target creature or Planeswalker and have those controller draw a card also. So the only drawback here is that you can replace this creature or Planeswalker destroyed, but given that you can just randomly draw any cards from their deck, which means that you've also dealt with your best play or your best creature or Planeswalker, and at the same time you get a 3/2 body wherein you can just flash it out in your the end of your opponent's turn, and then untap with your open mana for your make this appears or your spell appears to protect this creature. So with the flashy effect, it is then assisted with the Wandering Emperor. So any other effect you can use this is on use where Plasma Stone counters to get them placed first strike. You can also create a 2/2 White Samurai creature token for a blocker, and as long as you flash it at any turn or the first time it's entered the battlefield, it can activate this ability at any time. You can cast it an instant. So also a nice effect to kill off a relevant tap target creature and also gain you 2 life. So assisted with this with your flashy creatures is the 3 copies of Wandering Emperor, and Winning Announcement can also serve as your 3rd drop for later on use as an anthem effect for your creatures to get bigger with Winning Announcement flipping into Winning Festivity. So for the instants in this deck, they're pretty basic. Make a disappear 4 copies. It's a casualty 1 to make it more efficient with the human tokens being sacrificed to get a solid counter spell. And also ronas Vortex. This is a new card. This is not a counter spell per se, but bouncing off a creature or Planeswalker you don't control to its owner's hand. But with the kicker, when paid, it puts the permanent at the bottom of its owner's level instead. So it also prevents graveyard shenanigans of reanimation or getting to return Planeswalker cards to your hand with this effect whenever you kick ronas Vortex, as it returns the creature back to its bottom to its owner's level instead. So 2 copies of it, and also 2 copies of Spell Pierce to just go out with a curve, as you can leave out 1 empty mana to counter some relevant spells in the format or non-creature spells such as Fabled Mirror Breaker and My Top Massacre. Now for the last part, or the inclusion of the lands or the fix. So Pain lands with the Undercar Waste and Caves of Koilos, Slow lands with the Deserted Beach, and some utility lands such as Iganju, State of the Empire, along with also the basic lands, and of course 4 copies of Raffine's Tower, since this is an Esper deck, and Plaza of Heroes for, as mentioned earlier, the build around card for this Esper flashy deck type. So that's about it. If you want to try this from your MTGO or MTG Arena, feel free to check out this deck. And you can also comment on this video as to want to go for the checklist or for any other additions that you may have, or you can have to replace this on this deck build to help assist this build around kind of deck for the standard format. So thank you for checking this video. If you would like to and follow more MTG content, especially Dominaria United standard deck text, you can just like and subscribe to Mark TV for more of this type of content. Thank you for checking this video, and until the next, thank you.